Brown Breakdown. Special episode, bonus episode, off season.
What a trade. What a trade. Jaylen Brown to the Philadelphia 76.
Absolutely sick to my stomach, Dre. I didn't know that the Boston Celtics organization allowed day drinking inside the facilities. Brad Stevens is drunk. Joe Mazzulla's in Spain doing nothing. I'm sick of this team. I can't handle this team anymore. Jaylen Brown is gone. And you know what? I'm upset.
I don't know what's going on. The World Cup being over there, alcoholism has to be through the roof right now because this is the worst trade the Celtics have made in the last 10 years, I think, easily.
Everybody's drinking. Everybody's taking the season, the year off. If you didn't hear, Jaylen Brown is no longer a Boston Celtic. I'm going to give you a rundown. Dre, you can add in where you need to. Obviously, we lost the season the way we lost it. First round exit. First thing Jaylen Brown says is, yeah, this might have been my favorite season. The only indication was that it was his favorite season because he was the star. He was the number one guy. And, the writing was on the wall at that point. You think so?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the streams, the subtle shade, the media, the pushing it for the past however many years, it was going to happen eventually. This year was just a straw to break the camel's back, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and I feel bad for Jaylen Brown because I do think a lot of it was targeted, right? He isn't the biggest supported guy in the league. He does stir and cause problems. Not with the Celtics. It's more direct at, his issues in the Olympics with Nike and all that nonsense with Stephen A. Smith. Like, that's just kind of his character. So they're not the biggest Jaylen Brown supporters, and they've really been pushing to separate these guys. Now, I think personally, this is just my opinion, Jaylen Brown is in the headspace since he's won a championship that he's comfortable leaving the team and going off. He feels like they've succeeded. They did what they needed to do, and now he wants to be his own guy. Would you concur?
Yeah, no, I agree. But I don't know if he's going to be the guy in Philly next to Maxey. I don't know. Maybe for a year or two, but Maxey's been there forever. He's been their guy forever. He just beat the Celtics in 7 this year. Is he really going to be the number one guy?
Tyrese Maxey, I actually do think Jaylen Brown is probably a more dominant player. Obviously, Maxey does what he does. He's a great shooter, but in terms of being a leader on the team, he's never really been kind of that outspoken guy. And I think Jaylen Brown's looking for that spot. Embiid's obviously Embiid. I don't think he's on his last leg, and I don't care how he played well against us. But I'm shocked. Out of all the rumors, any team that said they possibly might want him, certain offers we've been seeing, between originally, Minnesota's one of those teams, Portland, Atlanta, New Orleans, 76ers out of nowhere. First time I've heard this team in regards to anything in the past 2 weeks. Absolute shocker in that regard.
Yeah, I was convinced Brown was going to Atlanta if he was getting traded. After that domino fell, it was like, Atlanta's the perfect spot. You can go get Dyson Daniels. You can go get Alexander Walker. You could probably get 2 firsts out of it. And I think that would have been a better trade package if Atlanta was down. Philly was out of nowhere. And now look at Philly's lineup for a second, dude. Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown, whoever they want at the 4, and then maybe Embiid. That team that's not like a contending in the East, for sure.
That's a great team. Part of the problem, Brad Stevens has to have, and this is why I think he has to have a plan down the road with Paul George. You've juiced the Sixers. You've made them one of the better teams in the East. Jaylen Brown, Maxey, everybody you said, Edgecombe, and Embiid. When I first saw the Sixers, I read real slow that ESPN tweet from Shams. Jaylen Brown, going to the Sixers. Who are we getting back? Immediately, my head went to Edgecombe. I'm like, did we just get BJ Edgecombe in this trade? Because honestly, I would have took that. If it was Paul George and Edgecombe on all these picks, I would have been pretty much okay. But the fact that you're only getting Paul George back and you've made the Sixers that much better of a squad in an East that's been all around getting better inside of free agency and with all these trades going on, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're a bottom 8 to 10 team now.
Yeah. I mean, everybody got better in the East. I don't think there's a team that got worse except for maybe the Celtics. And when you look at the trade, man, yes, you get 2 firsts, 2 seconds. That's cool. We've seen what you guys can do with the draft, so it's not all lost. But you just went up 6 years with Paul George. Paul George was literally suspended for drugs last year. He's 6 years older. He's not nearly as good. He still costs a lot of money. Not as much as Brown, obviously, but he costs money. I don't get this move unless you have something already loaded that you're just waiting to pin.
And this is, I don't think I mentioned, this is an immediate reaction. We saw this 30 minutes ago and immediately jumped on. Figured we had to get this out there and absolutely bitch and moan before anything crazy happens. But I cannot imagine what we are going to do with, I know Derek White is a guy they're possibly sending off. And Hauser's right along with it, right? Hauser's getting 11 million. Derek's getting 23, 26, somewhere around in that range. So his contract's getting worse by the year. And he had a bad year. I think he'll be better with Tatum if we keep him. But he's another name we're throwing in. I don't see what you can do, though. You're going to get like a decent player in return from either package those two guys or you're just sending out Derek White. You are supposed to get a young core with Jaylen Brown,
Right.
which wasn't going to be that good of a return, which we were kind of coming across as okay with. Some people weren't. Some people wanted to stick with Brown. But I would have said if really that's where it's headed and Brown emotionally, that's where he wants to be, off the team, leading his own team, I'm okay with that. But we have to get some substantial return. Maybe we don't win the trade, but we can't get absolutely back-ended like we just did. This is terrible. Terrible all around. I don't know what Brad Stevens is thinking for a guy who so consistently has been the top tier general manager in the NBA, or one of, year in and year out, making the smart decisions, making the decisions nobody knows about, which this is one of them, but this is a horrible, horrible trade. I cannot see the good in this.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty obvious that the Celtics settled here, right? After Giannis went, it was like you shopped around. There definitely wasn't a better offer out there, because if there was, why would you not take it and instead send Brown to your biggest rival who you play in the playoffs every year, it feels like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you do
Sickening.
next?
Even going, to what you said, was there a better offer out there? Maybe not. Keep him. Keeping
Right,
him would have been
right.
better. I would have rather kept him and dealt with the bullshit for a year of he's, moaning and groaning, and he's still a good player. Like, we make it work at that point. I would rather Jaylen Brown on my team and refuse to play than see Paul George on the court in a Celtics jersey playing alongside Tatum, making the team worse. I don't see the good in this. And for a day that started off okay, you signed Mike Conley, who obviously is not who he was, but that guy is a vet, right? Which kind of signifies that, they're moving Brown, there might be moving Derek White, some of the leadership on this team, and we're like, we get this guy in a vet minimum, he covers some of that. I was okay with that. Mitchell Robinson. So now you get a center who's a decent center who can pair up with Kata nicely. He helps with your rebounding. That's a huge factor. You get him on what is a fairly good deal. I'm not complaining. You get him 3 years, 47 million, whatever, right around there. Like, that is a good move. And then you turn around and dump on my chest, on the city of Boston. I'm sick to the core. I can't tell you how many people within minutes of that tweet going out were complaining on Twitter, on Instagram, people texting me saying, what are we thinking? And I don't have a good answer. I don't know what to say to them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either. It doesn't make sense because all of the free agents, best trade candidates, everyone's already traded, dealt, signed. Who's left? LeBron? Is LeBron the answer?
LeBron's not coming here.
LeBron doesn't win you a championship either way.
That too. The skill's not there. But that was somebody's thought today. It was like, well, what if we scoop LeBron? This is before the fall trade. We are the one city in the country where we're in July. There's a Red Sox game going on. It's July, not basketball season. You're at Fenway Park, which is not a NBA arena, and they've got guys outside the park selling LeBron as a douchebag shirts. LeBron's not coming here. This is the most hated city for him. So who do you go and get? Who are the free agents out there? There's nobody that I could see that you pair along Tatum and Paul George that makes this team a championship contender, or even remotely close to, I don't know, Eastern Conference Finals or something like that. Think of who you're dealing with. Halliburton's coming back. The Pacers got him. They have Zubac, and they've got a bunch of good players, Siakam. Like, that is a good team if Halliburton comes back healthy. You've got now to deal with the Sixers. You have the Knicks coming back. Admittedly, I'm probably going to be in the same state, but still a pretty good team. I don't know.
Cade Cunningham developing another year. You have the Wizards who now have Trey, AJ, and AD because AD's talking about staying now. And you also, the Hornets got better, in my opinion. But the Raptors just got better too. They just got Kawhi. The East is way better than it was a week and a half ago. Not to mention Giannis is here now.
Oh, God.
In the past month, the Celtics have had to see the Knicks win a championship, Jaylen Brown get traded to their biggest rival, and lose the Giannis sweepstakes to an East rival. It doesn't get worse than that.
I don't know what the league wanted to do to me emotionally. I don't think the league ever thinks about me as an organization. But they figured, you know what, today, that guy, make him jump off a roof. Because that's where I am right now. I don't know. Like I said, Jaylen Brown, he's been a favorite player of mine. The rest of the city, loves him. I think we all kind of came to the conclusion that he might need to get moved, but it's still sad to see him go. And it's even worse because in the back of your head, he's going to kill it on the Sixers. He doesn't have to be the best player, but he's still probably going to, be the primary guy. But you have a great shooter in Maxey, a great up-and-comer in Edgecombe. Now you're tying it together with Brown. You still got Embiid when he wants to show up if he doesn't blow his ACL in week 1, which honestly, it could happen. But those are still 3 solid guys at the very least. I'm going to be spinning tonight thinking what was the plan, unless something happens within the next few hours here. This is a quick response, but dear Lord, please, something happened. Something's coming down the chute. It must be, because I don't see Brad Stevens leaving us in this position for the season to start.
Then the question just sits there. Who is it? What's the target?
I don't know.
See anyone. And even if you guys do go get LeBron and think that's the answer, you guys would be geriatric. Mike Conley, Paul George, LeBron. Are we kidding? No, that can't happen. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Who right now? I know Jalen Duran was up for grabs. But with the Mitchell Robinson side, you must think, that he's not as available as he's making it out to be. And obviously that would be a sign trade, but Detroit's probably going to be a hard nose on that and not give him up, which I agree with. He's a young guy. You don't want to get rid of your center. But Walker Kessler was the other guy. Lakers give up their future, and I wouldn't have given that up, but you never know. Maybe send him to Utah, Jaylen Brown, and you get him back, and you're getting something out of it. Send him to Houston. I would have took Thompson and Durant, and knowing Durant only has maybe a year left, if that. But you know what? It would have been much cooler seeing Durant on the floor than Paul George. He had one good series, and it was against us, but it was one good series. He was non-existent for the whole season. What are we thinking?
Is it fair to say that maybe you feel like you're in a worse position now than you felt at the beginning of this past season?
Absolutely. That was the first thing I said to Alec, who texted me, he's going to blow his head smooth off. But it was, I feel worse, and we are in a worse position than when we were when Tatum blew his leg out. That is, and everybody feels it. Everybody knows it, which makes me believe that Brad Stevens must feel it too. Was he in that height of a position where nobody wanted Jaylen Brown? That's all we could get? You know what? Good on the Sixers for reaching out. That's a great GM there. He was, let me give a call, see what we can get. All you want is Paul George? And sure, they gave 2 first-round picks. Just 2. And 2 second-rounders? I'm a second-rounder in the NBA. Who are they picking in the second round?
Second round is it's always been trade fodder. It really has. And I think one of the first round picks has a protection on it, whether it's like a swap or some weird, I don't know the exact details on it, but I know one of them is an unprotected and one of them has some sort of weird, read the byline type of thing. I don't know. I don't know, Div.
How were the Sixers even able to play hardball? And you know what? I will say, Brad Stevens, he'll probably go out in front of the mic. I gotta hear what this joker's gonna tell us. What does he have planned? He's gotta get in front and explain himself. He's gonna get grilled all season. What does Paul George feel right now? Does he feel like he's ready to win a championship? He fucking better be. I don't know what else we can expect out of him.
I'll tell you what you can expect. You can expect a cool 40 games. And 13 of them to be over at 15 points. That's what you can expect.
He might get us past the first round, him and Tatum. And Mitchell Robinson.
Got to get there.
I'm still holding out for Trey Murphy. But I don't think that does anything.
I don't know.
Who do you give up for? Derek White's
the first you just got, I guess. But at this point, I would keep him. I think they're going to be, I don't know. Philly's going to be good, so they might not be the greatest picks ever. You could trade him for Trey Murphy. I think that is the best option. But again, that's not going to win you a championship. I don't think that's going to push you past the Knicks or the Raptors.
No, and I think my biggest complaint in all this is it's not even that Paul George's skill level. It's more the fact he's 36 years old. Like, you couldn't get anybody younger. How old's Durant? Durant's probably the same age.
Durant's
right?
like 38, yeah.
So, all right. So I would have took Durant. maybe it's
I would have taken
Durant's
Durant
been healthier.
over Paul George in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't see what getting Paul George does for this team over keeping Jaylen Brown, as unhappy as he is.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that makes sense is that Brown was just like, you have to trade me. I'm not staying here because I don't think this makes sense for the Celtics otherwise. And I think the rest of the league must have understood that if they weren't giving up anything better than this. You could have gotten better than this easily a month ago if you traded him back there. Easily.
You know what? Looking back, if Milwaukee really only wanted, who was it? It was Brown,
Tyler Hero,
Gonzalez. No, so that's who they got. But
Celtics package, yeah.
Yeah, so Brown, Gonzalez, and
was it like 3 firsts?
Yeah, it was a couple of firsts, but then it was who was the third player?
Gonzalez, was it? I don't know. Was it Hauser?
No, more am I blanking?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was a third player.
Oh, was it Pritchard?
No, it wasn't Pritchard. Oh God, I'm stubborn. Okay, so after some Google searching, Gonzalez and Shireman and picks are the things you won't give up to get Giannis. And now you're stuck with Paul George. This might be the worst fumble in Celtics history. In my note history, for sure. For sure. Who do you get out of this? What was the point?
So the only bright side I see is the financial side, right? Which matters only if you nail free agency, right? It doesn't matter if you suck after free agency. So I looked up the best free agents that are still here. Number 1 on the Bleacher Report big board here is Gabe Vincent. So that's reassuring. But I think that the guys that might fit the best, one, Rui Hachimura, I think would help a lot. Maybe you go get a guy like, I don't know, role player Bruce Brown, Josh Okogie. You're not going to bring in Chris Middleton unless you really want to start a nursing home.
Chris Middleton! Oh,
you can go get Draymond. You can go get... I'm saying, dude. Maybe you go get Jonathan Kuminga. I don't know.
Even Bruce Brown was a little too old for reading that list off.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What is this?
Matisse Thybulle, maybe, if you want some defense.
I'm in a dream world. This is.
We might be in the bizarro world right now.
And you know what? It's my fault. I'm one of the biggest, I'm okay with getting Brown off my team people. I really was. Because I've always been a Tatum truther. Like, Tatum, I've always believed, is definitely the number 1 guy. All around, he is a better player than Jaylen Brown. That hasn't changed. And I've never liked Jaylen Brown's attitude this entire year. Where, yes, he was the leader, but he moaned and groaned through every game. And it was never more clear that you can't be a leader when you act like that. I don't know. I don't know why you would still get rid of him for that kind of package. It's worthwhile to keep him on your team, even if he doesn't play, even if he sits there. He's not going to sit there for 3 years. Eventually, somebody's going to be like, all right, we'll give you this package.
Right. I feel like I'm not a Celtics fan myself. You guys know I'm a Hornets fan. But thinking for the Celtics, I'm okay trading Brown for Giannis, right? But once it's not for Giannis anymore, there's no benefit. You're not getting better with any trade you do. You're just not. You hold on to him. Maybe you trade him next year. Maybe you trade him at the deadline when a contender gets injured and they need help. You know what I mean? It didn't make sense now. I don't know. Now you got to go nail free agency. You have to if you want to compete.
I think there's got to be something, at least one more thing. Not necessarily saying it negates the badness of what we've experienced in the past hour, but, go out, see what you can get for Derek White, because that's that's getting to become a worse contract. He's getting older. The numbers are staying the same as they were 2 years ago. I think he had a bad year, but I don't think that's as bad as he can be. But still, it's really not in our favor to keep him. You got to get younger to some degree. You have to go get some young point guard. It just is the case. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. We're 20 minutes into this. I don't know where to go. I don't know what you can do. Your freedom is restricted with the contracts you currently hold, the people you already signed. We have 15 roster spots at the moment. So obviously you can get rid of Banton and those guys, but the money is not in a good place. You got slightly cheaper with Paul George, considering he's 36. that's not really that good. And who's going to want Paul George? Like, my hope would be you're getting Paul George because somebody else wanted Paul George for whatever reason. Maybe they're drinking too, but and you're packaging maybe him and Derek White and getting a really good return back.
Maybe Trey Murphy.
If it takes that much, and my God, you're losing out though. You're getting Trey Murphy, and now the Sixers have Jaylen Brown. Like, that's why this is such a terrible trade. It's not just the fact you didn't get a great return. You juiced maybe your biggest rival.
Yeah, you play him in the
Who's a
playoffs
bigger rival
every year.
with the Celtics?
No, there's nobody that's a bigger rival than the Sixers in the past 10 years even.
Sure, you can say the Lakers, but we've played the Lakers twice a year. We don't play them in the playoffs.
Right.
The Sixers are our neighbor. They're right there. We play them 5 times a year. How many times can we show the Jaylen Brown tribute video where he's cooking the Sixers? How many times can we show that? Not 5 times. I don't want to show it 5 times.
Do you think Jaylen Brown's happy in Philly? Do you think he wants to go there?
No.
Do you care?
I don't think he's happy. I think they're going to win, but I don't think, like you said before, I don't think he's far and away the leader of the team, which, begs to question, is it going to be a problem for Philly? That's what I want to know, and that's what I want to see. But they're going to be a good team. Yeah. Like, there's no shot they're bad with that kind of lineup. It's not like they gave us anybody else. I don't know how you walk away without getting Edgecombe out of that trade.
Yeah. I mean, I would have thrown a first, too, even if they wanted. Just to get Edgecombe, it would have made it a better trade, even. But, I mean, what's the starting lineup now, right? It's Derek White, who's at the 2.
Hauser
at the 2?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Hauser. Surely, okay, they must run Pritchard and White.
Pritchard's on the 6th man, though. They're going to keep him on the bench.
Why? Who are you going to start over?
They're going to play Hauser at the 2.
Tell me who you're going to play. You're not going to put Sam Hauser. Sam Hauser can't move. He can't move.
Who do you put there?
You don't. You put White at the 2 and you put Pritchard at the 1.
Pritchard can't play in the starting lineup. He can't be on the court when the ball goes up in the air.
Well, guess
I don't
what?
know why. But it can't happen.
Brad doesn't realize that. So that's the situation you're in now. That's the situation you're in. So right now, you are starting Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Paul George, Jason Tatum, and Mitchell Robinson. Who is scoring besides Tatum and Pritchard sometimes? Because Paul George is going to miss half the games. Mitchell Robinson is literally Shaq at the free throw line.
Listen,
if
Mitchell Robinson gets fouled 10 times, we're guaranteed 4 points.
My power died. We are back. I shut down the entire street, gripping onto my fucking power box and ripping out the wall. And I got a better mic here now. So going from where we left off, if we get Mitchell Robinson at the free throw line for 10 moments of the game, we're going to get 4 points out of it. That's how we win. We send him to the line 1,000 times. Jason Tatum doesn't have to see the court, and we're going to win a basketball game.
And Mike Conley's going to set it up every time. Let's go.
Oh, my God. Why is Mike Conley on our team? It makes it so much worse. I like him, too. And somehow him being here makes it worse because the average age just shot up to 96. Joe Mazzulla is younger than both of them.
Paul George needs veteran leadership. Come on.
Veteran leadership. He's got to be playing the game to be a veteran. He can't fucking stay on the court. He played really well against us. You know what? This is how I see it. Mitchell Robinson couldn't shoot a free throw. Joe Mazzulla's like, we need that guy on our team somehow, some way. And Paul George had one good series, one good stretch of games the entire season. It was against us. They lost the immediate next series. And Brad Stevens was like, that's our guy. We need to take that guy.
They didn't even just lose. They got swept.
There's got to be something down the road. This can't be the answer. We have too much confidence in Brad Stevens. I put a crazy theory out there, which is not my theory, but it is someone I'll give credit. Billy Carroll, you're out there.
Let's hear it.
Nikola Jokic. Hold on. Stay with me. He has not signed an extension with the Denver Nuggets. Yeah, correct?
Okay,
not signed an extension.
That is correct, factual.
Next year, he plays, and then he's a free agent. Not saying we could have done with Jaylen Brown, so I don't understand why we would have just done it that way. But Paul George's contract makes it so that we can still get Jokic after a trade. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it's like my only piece of hope where I'm like, hey, that would be really cool. And what would you even play him at? The 4?
5?
Would you play him at when you got Robinson,
Come on.
Keita?
Come on.
I mean, we're probably giving them Kata at that point. So
I would think
don't
so.
know.
I mean, the trade's bad when it's got you looking a year into the future at a superstar who is just gonna resign.
I don't know what to do anymore.
Listen,
Why do I
man,
do this?
it was smooth sailing before this.
Yeah, no, we're fucking drowning. We're the Titanic submarine, and we've imploded. But people are still looking around, thinking our bodies are out there, but they're gone.
They're not. They're not.
They're granular at this point.
The only interesting thing about this power outage you had is now we've had like an hour or two to like see if anything else happened, and there's been no news. Nothing.
Nothing's
no
happened.
shams, there's no talks. There's no move. There's no nothing.
I've had Twitter open. I would just kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and
yeah.
Now it's mostly people, hoping.
It's just memes of like Brad Steven on like Al Qaeda uniforms.
Oh my God.
He's like photoshopped with Osama bin Laden's
When
beard.
do we label Brad Stevens as a domestic terrorist?
I think you did that at the start of the pod.
Currently, Brad Stevens, Johars are knives down here. Brad Stevens up here.
So I was thinking about this while we're gone. I want to play a little game, okay?
Yep.
So with this new Celtics starting lineup, I'm going to go down the teams in the East. I want you to tell me if you think you could beat them in a 7-game series today. So we'll start at the top with the Pistons.
No.
New York Knicks.
No.
Celtics are the 3 seed. Who was the 4? Oh, the Caps.
No.
Okay. The Pacers.
If Halliburton's like he was, no.
Healthy Halliburton. They should be
healthy
this year.
Halliburton.
It's that whole year off. The
Yeah.
Raptors with Kawhi.
Yeah, I still think we can beat the Raptors.
Really?
That trade doesn't move me. I think Kawhi's just as good as Paul George is.
I don't. I think Kawhi's way better than Paul George.
Maybe it's just because who he is and he's always underrated, but like nothing about that. I mean, they gave up. I like Grady Dick. I'm not sure his talent level is warranted, but I do think like the Raptors didn't make like getting Kawhi didn't make a difference for me. I mean, they've got who on that team right now? They've got RJ.
They've got RJ. They kept quickly, right?
I believe so.
So they've got those two. They've got Kawhi. They've got Scotty Barnes. They've still got Pirtle. They've still got Colin Murray Boyles.
That's just a team to me that does. I don't know. It's not like we still have Jason Tatum. Like I feel like Jason Tatum alone would still beat the Raptors.
Okay, I can see the argument for the Raptors, sure. And then let me pull up the rest of the East here. I know we've got the Hornets.
I still think we beat the Hornets. That's something we can get in at the end of this, just to throw your 2 cents in. But getting rid of LaMelo is that's a tough look. I don't care what you get back.
I agree. Actually, I think you guys would beat us. What about Atlanta?
Atlanta was playing really good, and honestly, Atlanta got a tough first round matchup. That's a team that could have gone to the Eastern Conference Finals this year.
They gave the Knicks the best run for their money out of the entire playoffs. The Magic.
So Magic. Nothing about the Magic impressed me.
I think you can beat the Magic.
Yep.
And then the Heat with Giannis, Bam.
It really is just Giannis and Bam. So it
really is.
I don't know. That to me is like our closest matchup at the moment. I feel like we're just as good as the Heat are right now.
Okay. And I assume you feel like
Bam.
you're better than the Bucks, Bulls, Nets, and probably the Wizards.
Yeah, I would still say we would beat the Wizards in a
Okay.
series. Wizards have a good foundation. I'll give them credit because all I did the whole last year on this podcast was shit on them. But they have gotten to a good place. Trae Young, a lot of money, but pairing him with AJ, that's a good foundation.
Yeah, and I think if AD stays healthy, they can make the playoffs.
Yeah, I still think we'd beat him in the first round. But I mean, and this is me being proud. I still think like we should be top 3, but now we're top 7, 6?
You guys, if we went down that order, the teams that you would beat, you would end up at 7.
Terrible. Horrible. And that's where I thought we were going to be this year with Tatum hurt. So now we have no Brown.
I didn't even say Philly. I just realized that.
Oh, yeah, and we're losing to Philly.
Yeah, you're not beating Philly right now.
That's gonna I mean, that killed me alone this round. When you know what, and to speak to it, part of the reason we're in this situation is we lost in the second round to the Knicks last year, not this year, which was a team that we could have beat. In the first round to the Sixers with a full team, with a team I was confident going into the playoffs we would beat, or we would beat the Sixers. Like we underperformed. To kind of reason with this trade, not necessarily the package we got out of it, but why we got rid of Brown was not just because he said this was his favorite year and there might be problems brewing and it's possible he asked for a trade. I'm convinced he did ask for a trade and we're just not airing it out.
I think so too.
Yeah. We wouldn't have gone to this if he didn't ask for a trade.
Do you think that if Tatum didn't come back last year that we'd be in this situation?
Yes, I do. Because I think the emotion's still there where he's like, okay, I can leave this team and Tatum's still the better guy. And I don't think that's something he'll ever get over, but Tatum is definitely the better guy. Tatum doesn't dribble it off his foot every game. You know, I watched the fucking season. Not everybody did. And he still dribbles it off his foot at age 30, 31. Like, he's pretty singular dimensional. Like, yeah, he's a top 15 player, but he has some glaring holes and mistakes that he commits on a nightly basis, which is why if we had to get rid of one of them, it's him. It's not Tatum. Tatum's the better leader, all-around better player, way better at spacing the floor, way better field general on the court. Like, there's just way more you're getting out of the one guy than you are Brown. So, yeah, going back to it, I don't think it was all just from what he had said at the end of the season and the emotional problems that were springing up with Tatum coming back early and all that nonsense. Part of it is you still didn't perform in the first round. It got to Game 7. Yeah, Tatum was part of that, but you still didn't win. Like, it's not the fact that, Tatum was part of the problem, but you want to keep Tatum. But you have to change the team. That's why I was sold on Giannis. Some people were 50-50. I was ready to get Giannis because the team needs to change.
Yeah, you guys definitely need a change now. I'll tell you that. I agree that Giannis was the guy. I mean, it was the perfect time. You guys had Brown to do it. Should have just pulled the trigger. Maybe there was a world where Brad Stevens thought he could have all three on the team. I don't know if you could afford that. Didn't work out. And now you got to go get Trey Murphy.
God, what does that do for us? Trey Murphy with what? That's why when it was being suggested Trey Murphy for Jaylen Brown and like a pick here and there, I'm like, cool. We got a guard, but it's not really helping us. Yeah. It's just switching the talent to one position. And it's not making really the rest of the team better for. Because Pritchard is a suitable guard. We would just rather him be the sixth man, leading that, those secondary lineups, whatever it may be. But, getting a player like Giannis or, even a collection Jamal Murray or if you got from the Rockets, you got Durant and Thompson, like you're kind of making up for what you lost. And it's just not there with Paul George. It's just not there. And I want to look stupid. I want to post this at 10 a.m. tomorrow. I want to post this. I want people to listen to it, and I want to be wrong by the time it's posted. I want a trade to happen at midnight so everybody in the morning feels like an asshole. That's what I want to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I just don't see who you trade for. Like, I want it to happen, too, for you guys. Like, if I was a full-fledged Celtics fan, I'd be begging for it, of course. For me, the only move that really makes sense right now is to go make a trade with these new picks you just got. Or maybe this is a mini rebuild and you guys are taking a down year, trying to get a high pick next year, and then running it back in 2 years from now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe Stevens thinks you just can't contend this year, so pack it up and try again next time. It feels too early to say that, but maybe he sees something we don't.
We are ruining Tatum's prime. So it's not just the fact that we are giving up on Brown. We're limiting ourselves over the next 2 years where he looked pretty good when he came back. And I think a whole off season of recovery, he's going to be kind of right back to where he was. I don't doubt in Tatum's ability. I have the utmost confidence in him, and I just think you're sandbagging yourself. I don't know.
You have to go get a second option as an offensive scorer. I mean, you can't trust Derek White to be your second best scorer. You just can't. Not after the shooting season he just had.
And that's part of where the hope comes from. You see what he was. You don't think he's going to get much better. He has been in trade rumors. This is not me just saying this, hopes that the team's entire makeup changes, which I don't care. If we didn't bring the same team back, we keep a lot of the rookies, I'm okay with that. But I don't want it to be a playing team. We still should be top 6. We're the Boston Celtics. We were top 3 with one guy. And somehow you got back a player that you look at it and go, we're going to get worse. And we didn't get much back for him. I'm running in circles here. I know we both thought, but where do we go?
It feels hard not to talk about the obvious when it comes to this. I think that from here, the best thing to do is to make a trade if you want to contend. We kind of had this conversation on the last episode we did about where the Celtics just need to make a move to contend. If not, it's not going to work. And then they did better than we thought. So you know what? Maybe they do better than we think.
No, that's not going to happen. No, we're going to be ass. We are. If things don't change, if this is the lineup, we're going to be ass. If it changes, then my thoughts will, circle again. But we'll probably still be ass. I don't know.
If you're going to go out of guard, who are you looking at? Because you need a guard.
Let's just play Mike Conley for 30 minutes. Trey Murphy's the easy one.
Well, Trey Murphy's more of a small forward.
Yeah, but Tatum carries the ball up anyway. So I'm really looking for kind of just that presence. It's not so much being the point guard. Because what point guards are outside of like Curry, who's still not traditional, but he carries that ball. How many do you really rely on to be the field general of the court, right? I think Tatum's still the guy that starts with it and Pritchard for the secondaries. So I'm not so much concerned for that to come out of him if we get Murphy. We just need him to be, the small guy doing the floor spacing, whatever it may be, which I think he can. What are our other options? Free agency, this is the first day. I don't think there's any big name out there. Not Simons is the only other one, but he's kind of like Murphy. He's not really he's not a divvier. He doesn't send it out.
Right.
He shoots. He might help our scoring, but
I mean, there's a lot of older names out there that you can go after. I don't think you want to add age at this point, but I mean, you can go get Jordan Clarkson, Tari Eason.
None of those move the needle though. I feel we're just swapping.
They fill holes.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, you're completely built around Tatum. This is going to be Tatum's offense. He's going to shoot the ball probably 50% of possessions. That's what you're looking at because Mitch Robinson isn't going to do much scoring for you. Derek White completely regressed in shooting. Pritchard can score, but you want to play him off the bench. Mike Conley has never been a scorer for his point guard. Keita obviously isn't a scorer. You still have Hauser for shooting, but he's not going to create his own shot.
He's hit or miss. He's
Exactly.
One night he's electric. The next 5 nights you don't see him.
I don't think you want to trust Baylor Shireman when you need a bucket. I guess Jordan Clarkson would patch the shot creation. Like you don't have much of that, but then again, I think if he's not 35, he's damn near 35. You don't need any more age. Yeah. I don't know who you go get, man. I think you kind of want to make a trade for a young guard that's maybe buried on a bench that's already deep with guards. Maybe you make a De'Aaron Fox trade. I don't know.
I'd take that. That's something that definitely fills the need, gives us a bump. But
if you're going to go get De'Aaron Fox, now's the time. This is the lowest value he's ever had.
Yep. Yeah, and that's a guy I could see coming here and getting a little revitalization. I think no matter what, we still bring energy. We have a floor of success. I mean, the worst I've ever seen is post Brooklyn trade when we got rid of Garnett and Pierce. And we had some low moments, but that was more a huge dump, and we bet on real near future back in 2010, 2012. And it's not even that bad of a situation this time around. So I think we can turn around. I think there's availability. There's guys out there. There's holes we need to fill, though. Brad Stevens needs to answer for his crimes. That's what's going to happen. And you're either going to do it by making the next move, whatever that may be, or you do it in front of a mic and pray to God there's not somebody out there that isn't stick. Watching him get up there isn't going to help me, but he's got to answer for this.
Absolutely. He has to. And I mean, I think his out is just going to be saying Jaylen might have asked for this, because I feel like that's what everybody knows happened. It's not said plainly, but I think it's pretty implied. Things he said on his streams, I think he said to the media, his tweets. I think it was kind of obvious. I think a lot of people know that. This is probably the best he could have gotten. And what else can he do?
Not much, but he can always get fired. And right now, he's on an iceberg that's teetering, and we're just hoping it doesn't flip over. It's going to be a hard watch of a season if there's no changes made. I have no confidence. And we really did put a number on ourselves with a 36-year-old guy. We're going to get 2 years out of him. People were worried we weren't going to get enough years out of Giannis. What's Paul George going to give us?
Yeah, and he probably won't give you a full season.
No.
I think I saw a stat on Twitter today of the past, I want to say 5 or 6 seasons, he's played 45% of possible games.
Maddening. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm not going to sleep tonight. How are the Hornets feeling just in general? Can we add something in?
Yeah, let's talk about the Hornets real quick.
Yeah, something positive.
We made, LaMelo trade wasn't too positive in my mind, but I can see the vision of it. So we go get Naz Reid, which I love. Would fit the Celtics great, by the way. Yep. You guys could have traded for him. We would have taken Brown for probably more. Mm-hmm. And the only problem with the Hornets now is that we have every piece that we needed last year, except now we don't have the piece that makes it all work, right? LaMelo, in my opinion, is a top 3 to 4, maybe 5 passer in the whole league. And guys like Con are great. I love Con Knuckle, but he's not a shot creator yet. He hasn't developed that far yet. You need the guy to get him open, and LaMelo is the perfect guy to do that. Brandon Miller's taking that step into the lead scorer, and he's going to be great in that role once he gets comfortable. I think he'll take about half the year to do that. But we're losing our playmaking. I love Kobe White. He's a decent passer. He's not on LaMelo's level. He's also not on LaMelo's level as a shot creator or a scorer, but he is a bit better of a defender, so we got better there. And then we made some cool additions in the draft. I like Hannes Steinbach out of Washington. He's a real like downhill scorer at the power forward spot. I don't want to compare him to Giannis, but he kind of reminds me of like his play style, if that makes sense. Obviously, he's not him, but he's the type of guy where you give him to him at the top of the key, he goes, he crashes, gets the rim. He also led the NCAA in rebounds last year. So I'm feeling pretty positive about our offseason. I hope we go get Rui Hachimura. I think that's the missing piece for us. Other than that, I kind of want another point guard, but I think we'll make the playoffs this year.
Hell, the Celtics are out of it. You can fill our spot.
You guys could still beat us, for sure. Tatum alone can just have a night that beats us.
I would have thought Charlotte would have made kind of moves that go to the other spectrum. I guess I'm not saying this right. What I thought Charlotte would have done was add veteran presence, get a little older, because their youth was just that. They got to the end. They really weren't driving it like they should have. Obviously, the plan took them out. But, you know, you get a couple more vet pieces around those guys. You stabilize LaMelo, and you get a couple, maybe you get 1 or 2 rounds, and you work off from that. But you work off of it because you have so many young guys. I don't know if trading off what essentially is one of your older guys, right? LaMelo was 6-year veteran at that point, whatever it was.
Yeah, he was in the league for 6 years, but he's only 24.
Yeah, so he's still pretty young, and I don't know. I just feel like you reset yourself 2 years back.
Yeah, so I think this was the minimum we could have gotten for a 24-year-old superstar. And some people will be like, oh, he's not a superstar. He's not a superstar. But, like, when he played, he very much, like, our offensive plus-minus went up, like, 15 points while he was on the court. And when he was off, guys like Khan, like, his field goal or his three-point percentage went from, like, 45 to, like, 38. Like, he gets guys open. He's one of the best elevators in the league, I would say. So to lose him is to lose the offensive engine. Like you said, I wish we added more vets, too. I think it would have really helped. But yeah, I guess we're putting the ball in Brandon Miller's hands. We really believe in Kobe White. And I don't know. The trade we got what? We got Naz Reid. We got one guaranteed. Sorry, it's a fly. We got one guaranteed first. We got, I think, 3 guaranteed seconds and then a bunch of pick swaps. And the pick swaps aren't really going to matter because we're going to be way worse than Minnesota. Minnesota, I think, is a contender. So those don't really matter. So essentially, we got Nas, a first, and 3 seconds for a 24-year-old superstar. I think that's the minimum you can get for that age.
Love Minnesota. I love Anthony Edwards. I think they've been underperforming these last 2 years, but them getting LaMelo is a really risky move, but with a lot of upside. Let me pose this to you. Would you have taken, as a Charlotte fan, be biased, as a Charlotte fan, would you have taken Jaylen Brown for Brandon Miller and Naz Reid?
Not for Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller, especially after the LaMelo trade, we need Brandon Miller. He's the only guy who can create a shot on his own.
Okay.
I would have given you, if we were offering for Jaylen Brown, I would have given you Naz Reid. I would have given you probably Musa Diabate and 2 firsts.
I feel like for me, that wouldn't have been enough.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to a couple
Brad
Celtics
Stevens,
fans.
that might have been a fucking blowjob and a heavenly entrance. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking.
It's more than you got for Paul George.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
with Paul
I know.
George.
I would have loved, I would have taken, seeing what we got now, but even in the moment, I think I would have taken Naz Reid and Brandon Miller. Like, I feel like that's a pretty equitable trade where, yes, you're taking away some, but Jaylen Brown is not only like the talent that's going to your team, he is juicing the Charlotte fan base. Like, that is a leader. That's a role he's going to fill. You lost LaMelo, obviously, but I never really felt LaMelo he's a star, but he's not a leader. Great player. And, you know, I think you see that with the Timberwolves, right? Like, Anthony Edwards is definitely going to be the number 1 guy. LaMelo being a number 2 is even better.
Is that going to work for LaMelo, though? You think he's going to accept that role? He's never been in that role once in his life, besides when
I think
he
he's
played
going
with
to love
Lonzo
it. I don't
school.
think none of the Ball brothers have ever come across to me as they want to be the hardest working guy on the team. So I think
Fair
it
enough,
yeah. I think Minnesota's tough. I mean, he's coming from Charlotte, but Minnesota is, you know, just as tough of a fan base where, you know, the popularity is not really there. Like if he had gone to the Heat, right? Like that's, even Miami's kind of a fair weather fans, but still, it's Miami. You know, Minnesota is just a tough state to be in for basketball, but I think it's going to work well. I think it's going to work out with them. I hope it does. I like Minnesota. And you still got Gobert. Like, that's pretty solid all-around team. That's a team I would currently take. I would take that team. I would give them Paul George and Jason Tatum right now because I'm sick of what we have. And I can't state this anymore. I'm tired of reiterating it, but we got our thoughts out there. Got a little Charlotte in there. Bonus off-season episode. Any last thoughts?
Stevens, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Brad Stevens, you're going to find me on top of the Verizon Tower. I just hope you're standing at the bottom of North Station to catch me. That's all I hope. Something,
He'll
please
drop the
come
ball
in.
on that one too.
Come in before this goes to Spotify. Allow me to be wrong. Allow me to eat dirt. Please. All right, well, if I make it to October, I'll see all of you then.
And then go get Trey Murphy.
Go get Trey Murphy. Or Jokic.
Yeah, good luck.
I can't even say it, but, go team.